So what's the quickest way to get a video from me, right? What's the quickest way? You might already see it. You might already see it. But do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Phase 3, SUMIRE. Not only did I want to do this character, I've been training her up myself, but to see someone already put in the work, and this is what we're here to see today, ladies and gentlemen. SUMIRE review. Look at that backdrop, bro. Ooh, she's so spicy. She like poisons you in her interrogation. She does some crazy shit in her interrogation. Check out the phase 3 video because you guys, I just realized, well, that video I actually recorded before the reset. You guys will obviously see that I did because Zoya is still on the market, right? She's still in the marketplace, so she just got changed over. Now it is summer, so it is a really good time to practice the stuff that I say in that video as far as coming down to how to make a phase 3. So I want you guys to hopefully follow that advice, and hopefully you get, like I said, you should definitely be able to do 2 a month, if not possibly 3 of these a month, depending on how the events that come out throughout the month and allow you to get more. So SUMIRE is a core breaker. She's actually, before I actually read everyone else's core breaking techniques, right? She was the one that I saw that can break 2. It's like really literally in her, okay, I didn't want to press that. It's like literally in her thing, like she core damage 2. So I assumed at the time when I first got her, she was the only one that could core break 2, right? And apparently I was wrong. Now I realize that Labyrinth, not Labyrinth, but a lot of other characters like Che, they have core break 2, but they had to do with the mana intensified. This is again really early in, before I understood that some people would just magically get 2, or even the last one to review, Erin Yeager. So what does she do? So she's a physical attack character in the plus sign because she is a assault, as you guys like to come at me. She's an assassin. You're not supposed to use him to tank. I know. I don't have frontline, okay? I'm working on it. Literally working on it. So I can have a bunch of frontline tanks, and then I can have people in the back, and then maybe one range. But I invested too heavily in range in my account. So we have that she does that in the plus sign, just goes up in damage. Then we have, I forgot to put the music on. There we go. I like the music when you're in stages. So SUMIRE blinks to a target grid, dealing damage of her attack, physical damage to all enemies in the 4 grids ahead of her 2 times, with 1 core damage each. So it actually isn't 2 damage initially. So if for some reason the unit blinks, they can actually blink out of the straight line telegraph. But if you do hit it and they stay there, it hits 2. So it's very similar to, I would actually say, Krake, where she does a straight line. She has to charge up. Hers is a little bit different. You're looking to kind of nuke damage in onto one person, and obviously break cores in that same line. And it's a lower cooldown. This one's 31, so it has a little bit of a charge up time to it. But at the same time, it breaks 2 cores, and it breaks 2 cores in a straight line. So really, really good. Only thing that goes up here is just the damage, though. So nothing too crazy here. She seems like a pretty basic character so far. You know, like she just has core breaking. And I've noticed that a lot of the other characters like this, they have more. And once you start clicking into these passives, that's where it gets crazy. And specific, I didn't even mean to lead into that. So Craze Sakura. Every 16 seconds, SUMIRE rapidly stabs all enemies 6 times in the grids in 2 grids ahead of her. Each stab deals a percentage of her attack, physical damage, and attaching life loss. So I will actually point that out. I do know what that looks like. It has a visual effect. So yes, he does this, and the life loss damage is doing that. So I scroll down a little bit further. Now life loss, the mark lasts 8 seconds, and it deals 10% of her attack, physical damage per second. So pretty much, it's like a bleed effect. That's the best way I can that most people are going to be familiar with. It's a bleed effect that she attaches onto them, and every 16 seconds she's just going to rapidly stab them. This is obviously pretty good because sometimes units will walk out, right? They'll walk out of it, and like it says, each hit, right? Each stab will put a mark on. So you can have a ton of marks. So if you're in there and you take all 6, you're gonna have 6 life loss marks on you. The last 8 seconds, that deals a portion of her damage, which is kind of nuts. So her attack is actually really important, especially for stuff like that. So that's gonna be more important when we go into the Crimebrand section. So really cool, right? Then we have her second passive here, which is gonna be Flower Silhouette. Now, Sumire receives 13% damage bonus to enemies if an ally is in the grid ahead of her. This is actually really interesting. So her positioning is very important. So she's one of those characters that I would probably have never made the Bai mistake of like just putting her in the front line. She kind of is supposed to have a character in front, and anytime that you don't like do that, it's just worse. It's just bad. So positioning your tanks or something like that is really important, especially when you use your ultimate skill. When you use your ultimate skill, try to position her in front of a character so that it does more damage. It's just smarter to do it, right? So that's cool. Then you have the mana intensify, which is going to be really important. Thank you. My phase 3 video is actually finishing, so I can upload that so you guys can see this video as well. So for each life loss state carried by the enemy, Sumire gains 6% damage increase against them. So obviously this is a way for her to melt down bosses really fast. It allows her to take down a target in front of her really fast, and it also gives credence to like attack speed a little bit and things of that nature. So when it, and oh okay, I'm spoiling it. Attack speed actually is important because we're gonna go straight into the Shackles. Now as you can see on the 1, 3, and the 5, she does get an increased attack speed, and the reason why is that at least if you get her to 2, which is where everything is, where the magic lies. So if you have Sumire, if you don't have 2, unfortunately this guy doesn't have her on 2, which is where she really gets crazy. Is that every attack reduces the cooldown of Craze Sakura by 1 second. So what does that mean? As we know, every 16 seconds, then she does the stabs, then she has the life loss that are lasting 8 seconds. But if she has a really fast attack speed, this will go down way quicker, allowing her to keep those up and keep the life loss up on a target. This is where she gets a little bit nutty, and that's where, you know, her DPS starts to really go crazy. But unfortunately, like I said, you need at least 2 copies of her to get that out. So if you ever see her in a thing, or once you get that, that's pretty cool. Also, the ultimate reduced at 4 copies, which not the most important thing. I think that the 2 thing is the most important. As far as leveling up, I would think that you would definitely want to level the Craze Sakura first, because it's really unique to her. But let's go in and test her out. Let's look at her. All right, so let's check out baby girl. Boom. So I know I'm gonna zoom in. So after a couple seconds, you'll see that first effect. Where is it? Come on. God, it takes forever. There it is. That's the effect right there. As you can see, she already has her ultimate. Now, as you can see, this is her super. She's just gonna throw it out. You see, she got the... I love it. So, boom, boom. As you can see, it goes forward, it goes back. An obvious weakness of that, as you just saw, was I only get 1, right? So real quick, obviously that is the main weakness of her. If she has any units, and I think later on in the game, she can't really do that. She can't chain her she can't actually chain her ultimate, right? So that's kind of her weakness, and that's one of the weaknesses that I did saw. Being able to break 2 is phenomenal, but you still need to run other core breakers in there. So I'm just gonna slap in a core breaker. Usually I pair her with like EMP or something like that.
Shadow follows.
And this will probably make a lot more sense. You can see the little stacks, the life loss. Doesn't last all too long. There it is. So I'm gonna move you down. Boom. That's gonna cause a break. Let me just clear this out. Love Nox. Oh wait, I wasn't paying attention.
Shadow follows.
The Put someone in front.
Shadow.
Do that. Break the core.
Back off. Don't come close.
This guy's being so annoying. And then boom. Look at that. Oh, that's actually cool. You get to like see it. Let's look at her exclusive Crimebrand, which is going to be the Lethal Blossom. Increase the damage of all life losses on the battlefield by 20%. As you can see, that this person also went with the Providence. Let's go over to the rest of the Crimebrands, but I would agree with that because her attack stat is actually really important. Hey, look, that's the last thumbnail that I made. All right, so let's look at some other options that we have here. Corridor Echo, one of my favorites, man, for the beginning and the dawn of time, especially because it only costs 1 and it gives us that slot, right? Embrace the Dead is of the Dead, sorry, is a 1, 2, and a 3 slot, so it takes up everything. But since she is meant to core break and it does give you attack percentage here up to 6% and attack percentage here up to 6%, it does give her a lot of damage, and the life loss will be stacking on top of that. Embrace of the Dead might be the best option overall, in my personal opinion, but let's see what else we got. I kind of like Nightmare Revelation. At the start of the battle, all allied sinners gain attack and attack speed. Seems pretty good to me. At least the 2 slot open. Can't combine it with Corridor, but I do think it's interesting. So close, Paradise. So close. Premonition actually pretty good when dealing core damage. She does true damage based on the attack, and as we know, Premonition also gives attack here, and I do think it combines pretty well with this, which is going to be Providence, which it actually just gives raw attack. But the problem with this as a thing, right, is that to use up 2 slots, right, for 6% attack, when you can get 6% attack on a S ranked thing, is why I feel like we might need to find something else. But I will write down Premonition. I'm trying to just keep track of it. Singularity is pretty good, and I only like it because it is only a pure 2 slot. After moving, you increase your attack speed. When you do use her ult, it's similar to Labyrinth. It does move her, so you can position it in a certain way. And then since we have Nightmare Revelation up here, this would actually somewhat synergize, but this is only for the first 30 seconds of the battle. So doesn't seem too good, but it is a decent combo at the very least. Soul Rift I like a lot. Soul Rift actually synergizes with our lovely Corridor. That might be our combo right there. I think that I don't even feel like I need to read the rest of it. So you go Soul Rift and Corridor as an option because they synergize really good, and it's the 1 and the 2 slot. Reduces a target's defense by 4% after every normal attack for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. And then we have Corridor all the way at the top that actually gives us attack speed and gives us a little bit of energy. But the little bit of attack speed, you also gain 6% of attack here, a little bit of health, and it kind of synergizes a lot, I think. That seems like a pretty decent combo. Lowering the defenses for like the life loss and all the other things, synergizing with that seems like really good. Especially, like I said, if you're going two options instead of just going Embrace of the Dead, which I still think is the absolute best. Instead of something like Pandora's Cage, I don't like it too much because it gives you attack speed. It doesn't give you any attack. And that's one thing that I think that is really important. Her attack needs to be really high so those life losses actually trickle for a decent amount of damage. Turning 0, really good. Gain 3 energy points after using a chief skill. And as you saw, that is one of her weaknesses, is not being able to chunk that out. But giving yourself 3 energy plus me giving you the actual energy thing, and even if I spam it, I know it can only be triggered every 10 seconds, but if you actually space that out properly, you could get her ultimate back relatively quickly, but not in the time frame in which those on and off ones. Like as you get later in the game, they want you to pretty much break a core almost instantaneously. That's why Bai becomes extremely good later on, because you have like I would think maybe like a 10-second window to break like 4 or 5 something like that cores, and unless you have multiple core breakers, it's not gonna work. That's why I do like her, SUMIRE, is because she actually can break multiple cores, but you know, you still need to run other characters that do the same thing, but it does make it a little bit easier. And that is about it. So what do you guys think about this character? Do you think it's worth investing into, or do you think it's not worth the hassle? I do think that she's pretty cool. I do like her ability to melt the ever-living hell out of a unit, and she's just kind of sitting there in the life loss. And I wanted to bring this to your attention as well. There are small synergies, ladies and gentlemen. there are certain characters. She is not the only life loss character in the game. There's another character, Pepper, who actually synergizes really well with her. She has a thing, Leaf Infection. After Pepper attacks 6 times, the next attack deals multiple hits and attaches life loss to the target. Life loss, as we already know, deals a percentage of a thing. This one will be scaling off of hers, but still, nonetheless, there is another way of doing it. Also, what's really cool about her, also this, for each enemy with life loss, doesn't matter if it's from her or someone else, she gains attack speed, which allows her to kind of keep her life losses coming up. On top of that, boom, her other passive is for each life loss state carried by the enemy, she gains additional damage. Very similar to SUMIRE. You actually would kind of run them together if you were able to get her to phase 2. I think phase 2 is easy to do, but I do wanted to just point out that there are some stronger synergies. Like there's not that many characters that like synergize with each other on like that directly, but they both share something, which is life loss. So I do want to mention Pepper as well, and I do like that she oh wait, I forgot the last part. She's a B rank, and look what this is. Gains attack speed at the beginning of the battle by 10%. So she's gonna be shackled up, so she's actually gonna help you out. I would do a video on her, but I highly doubt someone's gonna have her built, but maybe after this video they'll consider it. All in all, perfectly cool character, does her job very well. And I think that she's really awesome. And again, an A rank. So you will see her a little bit more often. And hopefully you can get her, like I said, all the way up to at least Shackle 2. And then the party begins. Like this chick not being on Shackle 2 is nuts. I don't actually know. I don't think mine is. Yeah, see, I don't have any other copies. That's where the money gets made right here. The money gets made in Shackle 2. But anywho, hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And I guess you can guess which is going to be next. It's pretty easy to see. They just came into the shop. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.